Okay, hello everyone who is watching our YouTube live stream or the recording of this week's growth call. I'm Christoph Atteneder and I'm your host today. As always, I posted already the Google Hangout invitation link in the chat on the left. So you can join us here in the Hangout by just clicking on the link, or you can continue to watch the live stream on YouTube. Please, of course, if you want to use the chat on the left, just say hello, ask any questions. We will try to monitor the chat as close as possible and try to answer all your questions as well. Today, we'll talk about the outcome of last week's GBP Bitcoin Liquidity Week. We'll talk about markets and dates for the next Liquidity Week, or how we want to decide which market to tackle next, and also about our first trade in Mexico. Besides that, we'll also talk about different roles in the Bisq DAO if you want to get involved, and ask all your questions in the end as well. So for everyone who is joining us for the first time and maybe don't know what Bisq is the only real decentralized fiat cryptocurrency exchange out there. So you can exchange fiat currencies like US dollars with Bitcoin, or you can also exchange crypto with other cryptocurrencies. Our growth calls, like the one today, are about exchanging learnings on how to grow the Bisq network itself. Last year, we decided to focus for the next couple of months on growing especially liquidity on Bisq, which means to increase the number of buy and sell offers available. As today's call is also about the GBP Liquidity Week that ran last week, I want to explain really quickly what we actually mean with the Liquidity Week. So it's 1 week where everyone who is participating tries to have one buy and one sell offer available all the time to kickstart and push a market. Everyone who participates not only supports decentralized exchanges, but will also receive 20 BSQ token on top. So the BSQ token itself has different utilities within the Bisq DAO, which will be released maybe in the next couple of months, maybe already on testnet in 1 or 2 months. So you can vote with the BSQ token, you can transfer it, buy it, sell it, and you can pay trading fees with it. If you want to know more about the Bisq DAO, there is our white paper, or you can watch our first tech session. I'll post the links in the description below after the call, as always. So I would say let's get into it. I will share my screen. Takes a second. So let's go full screen and present to everyone. I think everyone can see it. So last week we ran the GBP Bitcoin Liquidity Week, and a big thanks to everyone who participated in it. So there were lots of offers available on both sides all the time. We had offers for faster payments, also a lot of offers from Revolut, which is a new payment method we're supporting since the last release. Unfortunately, the volume didn't pick up as we saw it in our other liquidity weeks that ran. So we saw a slightly decrease, but the total number of trades increased. So lots of people tried it out. They tried out just smaller trades in the beginning. But let's see how it will progress over the next couple of weeks. So before we go to the current offer book, maybe a question also for everyone who is watching live or watching the recording. If you are from the UK, or you want to get involved with Bisq and maybe be kind of an ambassador or present Bisq on local user groups, please contact us. And I think we can push the GBP Bitcoin market even further. So let me just go to the next slide. So that's the current offer book at the moment. So there are a lot of offers available. So just download Bisq, start it up, set up your payment method, and you can trade Bitcoins very, very easily. So
FYI, it's you don't need sorry, what was I going to say? If you want to trade pounds on Bisq, there's a tutorial available which explains all these steps that Christoph just mentioned. So how to set up Bisq, how to set up your payment method, and how to perform a trade.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I will post a link in the description below also. That's a good incident that Alfredo just joined us, because I wanted to talk quickly about compensation. Everyone who participated in the Liquidity Week is up for compensation to get a 20 BSQ token on the next voting. So how do you get compensated if you participated? Actually, it's quite easy. You create a GitHub account. That's really, really easy. And if you have created your account, you have to go to a certain repository within the Bisq account, and you have to file there your compensation request. It sounds a little complicated, compensation request, but it's just creating one file, and where you have to write, I will just switch to the next slide. So you just write title, Bitcoin GBP Liquidity Week. You're writing the amount you want to request. The BSQ amount is 20 BSQ tokens. The BSQ address, you get that from the Bisq client itself. Maybe I will just share quickly my screen, because it's
yeah, at the moment it's actually hidden.
It's hidden, yeah.
You have to press Control D or Command D, and then you see in the corner right DAO, the DAO, and you click on that and you see it. Obviously, when the DAO goes live, that will be visible all the time.
Yeah. So if you click on this DAO link, as Felix said on the right, here you have your BSQ address. Just copy it over and enter it into your compensation request, and you're good to go. Let me just quickly switch to sharing again.
And I highly recommend for anyone who does this for the first time that you just copy paste somebody else's compensation request and then change the appropriate sectors like the BSQ address and the details of your experience.
Yeah, and Christoph, one question. I did the compensation thing, but now for the moment, the track of all the BSQs for each account is doing still in the Google Sheet, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So for now, so in the next voting round, if you want to vote with your BSQ tokens, you have to talk to Chris Beams, so you get access to the spreadsheet, and then you can vote for each compensation request next month.
Yeah, I don't recommend that we worry too much about that, because that's going to change soon. Obviously, as soon as the DAO is launched, it's all going to happen in the app instead of, and in fact, Manfred showed the demo of how that would work. So that's almost done. So even though we're using a spreadsheet at the moment, that's not going to be how it works in the future.
Yeah, it looks already quite promising I think the video where Manfred showed it is live already. If it is, then I will link it in the video as well. Okay, let me just quickly switch to Mexico. Yeah, Felix, you were talking about the Mexican market on the last growth call, and you said that there's a bounty to be taken for the first trade, and obviously it was taken already.
Yeah, we had our first trade in Mexico. We are very interested in Mexico because we think that one of the good uses for Bisq will be remittance, and remittance corridors like US dollars to Mexico or euro to Mexico is very interesting. So we've got a friend in Mexico who's placing the first offers. If you'll see that there's 2 offers live at the moment, and they'll probably be there for at least a couple more weeks. So if you're in Mexico, go ahead and take one of those. We had the first trade last week. and we're hoping, you know, for a couple more people to join that market and start playing, so that you know, in a few months, hopefully we'll be able to have a working market there. It was very simple. I mean, there's hardly any complication to it. Just find a friend in a country that you want to kickstart and explain to them how it works, how to post a couple of offers, how to set up the payment method, and then just ask them, you know, it doesn't cost much time or money to just keep a couple of small open offers online, leave Bisq running in the background, and hopefully, you know, if there's more interest in that country, someone else will come along and take one of them. And after that happens a couple of times, then you can go up a notch and try and get more people using it. The main problem I find with Bisq is that in a new country, is that someone who downloads Bisq, tries to use it, and sees nothing on the market, nothing to do, nothing to buy or sell, they're just going to give up and wait until someone else does the work of maturing it. That's why it's yeah, go mute, Alfred, because otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, you know, people just if people see activity, that creates more activity. That's the idea behind Liquidity Weeks as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the new release, it will. I'm quite excited and curious how the Argentinian market, for example, will look like, because we've added support, for kind of first-class support for Argentinian banks for national bank transfer, same bank transfer, specific bank transfer, and cash deposit. So that should work now really easily. And we also have WeChat Pay for China as well in the new release. So and I think there might even be a couple of other payment options added as well soon. So as we've finished the liquidity week for the pounds Bitcoin market, we should think about which market actually we want to tackle next. The last time when we decided which market to try out, we had a poll on Twitter, so everyone could just of the community could say which markets they want to see on Bisq, and we took the one that with the most votes, and there was British pounds. I think on the last poll, second and third place was something about Canadian dollars or Australian dollars. But Felix, what do you think? Shall we do another poll?
Absolutely, we should do another poll, because if people show interest in the poll, you know, if you really want your country to take off and you think a liquidity week can help, you know, vote on the poll, and that will give us an indication of what people really want. You know, I don't expect everyone who votes to actually participate, but we don't need much to kickstart a market. 4 or 5 active traders with offers on the offer book are enough. So yeah, I would definitely give people the chance to vote on that. It's very fast to do. You know, we'll just take the 3 or 4 or 5 currencies that are most likely candidates because they've already had a number of trades. I think, you know, the Canadian dollars, Swedish kronas, Swiss francs, they're like 3 or 4 that we haven't tried yet, but that have some activity. Yeah, go ahead and vote. The other thing we have to agree on is the date.
Yeah.
I maybe wait until May to do it. I think, you know, we have to space these out a bit until we have more activity.
Yeah,
to not
absolutely.
try people. And also the other reason to give it time is so that if we can add more payment methods that work in a certain country, that can also help. For example, half the trades that we used for the GBP Liquidity Week were Revolut, which wasn't available until a couple of months ago. So it's a good idea to do that. Additionally, yeah, so the date, a poll, so that people can vote. And I just want to say that the GBP Liquidity Week, we did not get the objective of 30% increase in volume, but we did get a much more full order book, and many more trades. The number of trades went up significantly. So I'm quite happy with the experiment, even if it didn't go as well as dollars and euros.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, regarding the date, It's not 100% sure when the 0.70 release will be out, but I guess it might be in the next 2 to 3 weeks latest, and then maybe wait a week because there were lots of changes in the new client. So if everything looks fine, yeah, maybe beginning mid of May would be a good target to look for. Let me see. Yeah, another thing we wanted to talk about today are the roles in the Bisq network. I will just quickly stop presenting the slide and switch to share my screen, my browser. Let me just see.
Yeah, just basically, Bisq needs to recruit, needs more people. There's a lot of help wanted notices. There's a lot of roles open. Just go, as you can see there, to Bisq-network /roles in the GitHub, and you will see all the little help wanted notices that show where people are needed. If you want to collaborate with Bisq, this is the best place to start. Just see what's needed, ask to take over the role, and after the whole time of doing it on a trial basis, you will probably be awarded the role permanently, and of course there's compensation for it in BSQ tokens. So this is the best way to become a Bisq collaborator.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially look for the help wanted label on the roles. That are the ones where we're really looking for people to join the role. It's not that one role is just for one person in the end. So we have a couple of roles. For example, the Bitcoin node operators. There are I think 5 to 6 people taking this role, because it's it needs to have more distribution. But there are some roles where in the beginning it might be it might be enough to have just one person doing it. And actually, it's great that Alfredo is in the call today as well, because he just recently took over the role of the payment method maintainer. Alfredo, maybe can you talk a little bit about your experience, how it worked for you, or how you contacted us, or?
Yeah, well, it was. I began involved in with Bisq during these Liquidity Weeks, and I wanted to be more involved. So I found in these roles, the role that I thought that I could contribute more, and it was actually quite easy once I talked with in Slack. And found that that there was no problem, and that there was actually some work that I could do. I just started, and I'm already been provisionally assigned the role, and I'm already working in some issues.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to get into some collaboration with Bisq.
Yeah, that's really great, and especially also over the last couple of weeks and days, it's picking up the contribution. Now also regarding payment methods, we have another developer who is eager for having new payment methods ready from a requirement perspective to implement it in Bisq. A developer, Sarah from China. So
Sarah,
let's as soon as we have, I think you are working especially on MoneyGram at the moment on the payment method. And
exactly.
I think there's some other, I'm not sure if there's another urgent method, but it's up to you. You can look it up as soon as the data is there, the requirements that we have for payment methods, and then Sarah will implement it and we'll have it in the next release. So maybe in so everything that might be merged in the next, let's say, 2 weeks will be in the new release. So we can.
Okay. So which is actually the process? So I will actually list all the requirements that are met, and then the required fields to implement the payment method, and to pass it on to Sarah, for example. which would be the process?
Yeah, actually, that's the process. So
the best way to work on it is with an issue in GitHub. So you would create an issue or work on one or already existing one, and then after the issue is closed, then Sarah can go along and create a pull request to be merged into the next release. It's as simple as that. You've already, I mean, she's already done it for WeChat, so she knows the process quite well. And on your side, working with the issues in the in Bisq desktop is the best way to go.
Yeah, so for her to develop, the most important stuff is to know exactly what fields are required to do the transfer, the money transfer between these two the traders, and how it should be called. And if she has this this information, then it's just copy pasting and some changing some classes, and it's done. So implementing it is not such a big deal. The big process is to make sure that there is low chargeback risk, that we really understand how the payment method is working. So we have no issues on that side. The implementation part normally on Bisq is really straightforward.
Okay, and for instance, there are many payment methods that are actually multiple. Like in the case of MoneyGram, you have like the traditional or the main payment method is cash pickup for the receipt of the cash. But then there's also the bank deposit that and some even cash delivery that that actually are much more, well, in the case of the cash delivery, it's very marginal. There's not very available to many countries, but also for the bank deposits, it's actually the same fields that it would be required for any bank deposit, bank transfer anyway.
Yeah, that makes it even easier. Don't ever try to reinvent the wheel. Copy paste all that you can from other examples. Change only the minimum that you need for this to work.
Yeah, regarding MoneyGram bank transfer, the interest, of course, you could use just regular national bank transfer, but I'm not sure how we can arbitrate that in a good way, because I think, I don't know, I haven't tried it out, but as I understood it from documentation, if you do this, you go to this MoneyGram location, you give them the money, and they do the bank deposit from their account.
But they give you receipt. They give you a paper note with all the details of the transaction, and you keep that, so that can be used to prove the payment. In some cases, I don't know if this is for MoneyGram or for Western Union, you also get a tracking number, which allows you to check on the status of the payment online. So
yes, it's the same in MoneyGram.
Yeah, so this can be used for arbitration if need be.
Okay. Yeah, so if there are multiple options in one payment method which needs different fields, either we just create a couple of payment methods and just name it differently, like kind of MoneyGram bank deposit, MoneyGram mobile wallet. So it's not getting too much confusing, or we have to have lots of drop downs within one payment method. Might not be worth putting everything into one payment method. But yeah, we'll have to see. That's then part of the implementation detail, I would say.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Well, one final thing I want to say about the roles, if you can share the Bisq roles screen again, if you still have it. There's something for everyone. This is not just for devs. You have things like Facebook admin, Bitcoin Talk moderator, Telegram ambassadors, who are guys who basically go on social media or in person and do talks about Bisq. There's something for everyone. So if you want to help with Bisq and collaborate and be part of the network, you don't MailChimp admin, that's probably going away because I think MailChimp is bad. Vimeo admin, that's probably not. Anyway, there's stuff for video creators, for marketing people, for all kinds of roles. And we're going to talk about human resources now, are we?
Yeah.
Anyway, recruiting is a big part of this. So if you're not a developer, there's plenty for you to do. We need all kinds of people. And if you see something that you believe Bisq should have as a role, go ahead and create it yourself. Create the issue and say, hey, you guys don't have whatever. You don't have customer support, or you don't have someone specializing online marketing, or you don't have go ahead and suggest a new role, because you might you'll obviously be very well placed to be the first person to do it.
Yeah, and if you know someone who might be a great fit for a role that you don't want to take or can take, just refer them, and yeah, let's grow the Bisq network together.
One of the things we were discussing, I don't know, we haven't decided anything, but one of the things we were discussing was offering a bounty for recruitment. Yeah, I think we have to mull that idea a bit more, but I think it's one worth considering.
Yeah, absolutely. So that people who are really into headhunting or recruiting, doing it on a daily basis, might be also would help grow the network itself. I would just quickly share something again. Yeah, so we now the last point we want to talk about are the tutorial videos. So we do have already a couple of tutorial videos on our YouTube channel. So we have videos on trading Bitcoins with euros, with Indian rupees, with British pounds. We have a live trading demo by Chris and Felix trading on Bisq with Cash App. And actually, we need now your feedback, your questions. Which videos we should do next? If there's anything you really think would be interesting for you, please write it in the comments below or contact us on Slack. Stuff like, for example, you're interested how to back up the Bisq client, or how to set up a Bisq account in the beginning. So there might be lots of questions from your side, and we just need to know it. And if we know what's the most pressing issue is about, then we'll try to put out a bounty for a video, and it should be done quite soon. Felix, do you have any idea on a very pressing issue from your side where we should have a video?
Security and backup is probably the one that springs to mind. With Bisq, you control your own funds, you control your own Bitcoins, but that also means you have the responsibility, and there's nobody to call if you mess up and you lose your backup, or you didn't make a backup and your computer falls into the swimming pool and you lose your Bitcoins. So I'd really like to do a security video so that people know how to back up the Bisq wallet.
Yeah, what would be interesting for me as well, because it was, especially in the beginning when I tried out Bisq for the first time, it wasn't so clear how the fees are structured and how this works actually in Bisq client. If it's a kind of a flat fee, is it dependent on the price distance? So there is some algorithm, and we have some FAQs on the website, and also within the client to get more and more information. But I think that's also one thing that might make sense to clarify, especially when you did the test trade with Cash App, and you had this super low volume, and the network fee, the mining fee was so high, and people saw the screenshot with the fee percentage of 5-10% in the screen. They were kind of confused. Oh, and they wrote it in the comments. Oh, the fees are so high. Who would anyone trade on this platform? Of course, it's just a matter of that we have a minimum fee, and we just traded in the example a super low amount. And then, of course, the minimum fee is in relation quite high. And actually,
definitely a walkthrough through the fees would be a good one. I mean, that honestly, they're really low at the moment, because the big part of it used to be the mining fees, and they're thankfully gone back to reasonable levels and seem like they're going to stay there. But yeah, if you're trading 1 cent, the fee is going to be huge in comparison. But as soon as you're trading over, I don't know, $50, it becomes negligible at the moment. So it'll be good to show that as well. Yeah.
At the moment, it's a really good time to trade on Bisq. It's everything is running super smooth. And
I have also some graphs about the fees amount in relation with the size of the transactions that I can also share. So it's also clear. And regarding the security and backup video, there's also one thing related with it, that it's actually the moving your Bisq account from one computer to another. I think it's pretty related, and you could also include it.
Yeah, how to do a backup, and then how to load from that backup, how to recover with a password seed. That's a good one. Yep.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, if there's any other question from the live viewers, please just write in the chat, and we'll try to cover it. Otherwise, from my side, we've covered all the points that we were talking in Slack before. Let me just quickly check. Yeah. No, is there any question from your side, Felix, Alfredo? Do you want to cover? So yeah, if not, then thanks, Felix, thanks, Alfredo, for joining the call today. And again, thanks to everyone who participated in the Pound Bitcoin Liquidity Week. Don't forget to file your compensation request. You will have my vote for sure. And let's see which market we want to tackle next in the Twitter poll, which will be released hopefully over the next couple of days. So see you soon. Next week, there will also be a tech session, another one. And if not, let's see each other again on Thursday. Bye.